I'm Dr. Lisa Oates, and I'm talking to Australia's favourite herbalist, Dr. Sue Evans, about Boswellia serrata. Sue, tell us your insights on this lovely little resinous herbal medicine.
Right. Well, as you can see, this is a plant that grows in really arid conditions. So this grows in the Middle East and parts of Africa, and the part used is the resin. So think of maple syrup. So the resin is produced when the bark is damaged, and so the way that it's harvested is that incisions are made in the bark, and the resin is produced and it's harvested in that way, and the dried resin is then traded across vast areas. And
frankincense and myrrh.
What's that?
Gold, frankincense, and
gold, frankincense, and myrrh. Yes, we'll get to that in a minute. If the incisions are made in a fairly conservative way, that is, that they're not too many incisions are made, and the plant and the tree is allowed to recover between the harvests, then it doesn't seem to damage the lifespan of the tree, right? Now, partly because of where it grows, and also the fact that it's incredibly fragrant, so it's used in incense and perfumes, and as well as in medicine. This was seen as being a very special tree of great spiritual significance. And as Lisa mentioned, this is one of the gifts that the three wise men brought to Jesus when Jesus was born in the manger, in that first Christmas, in Bethlehem. Gold, frankincense, and myrrh were the three gifts, and hopefully at some stage we'll get to talk about myrrh as well. And this is a plant. This is a product that is mentioned many times in the Old Testament. More than 100 times in the Old Testament. It's been traded for. They suggest that it's been traded for around 6,000 years. So this is, and if you think about any of the stories of the spice trade, then this was absolutely one of the really valuable plants that was traded. And because it's a resin, it's quite light and it's very easy to transport. And when we think about whether the fact that most of our understanding of plants is dried plants rather than fresh plants, I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that the plants that were valued were the plants that were traded over long distances, and of course they had to be dried, whereas plants that were used fresh were very close to where people lived, and so they weren't valued nearly as much.
So you mentioned the actual bark. So when they're tapping the bark, if it's not done by someone who really knows what they're doing, what are the possible consequences of that?
Well, the consequences will be the death of the plant. That the plant will be damaged. Now, these days, the biggest exporter of frankincense is Ethiopia, and also Somalia is another large. There's a lot of trade of frankincense in Somalia, and these are harsh environments, and they're also politically quite unstable, and so actually to actually do the harvesting and to find out what's happening in the trade is actually quite challenging, to make sure that not only that the plants are being looked after, but also we're always thinking about the triple bottom line in terms of trade in herbs. We want things to be sustainable, and by that I'd say we need to be ecologically responsible. That we're not only making the plants sustainable for our own use, but also for other living beings in the environment, whether that's plants or animals or birds or insects, whatever.
So future generations as well.
Non-human life forms. So it needs to be ecologically sustainable. It needs to be socially sustainable, because this is a source of important income to those people who harvest. And of course, it needs to be economically sustainable so that the trade continues.
Thank you very much for your insights. I look forward to listening to you.
Okay.